Are you ready to start training your cats but not sure how to handle more than one cat? Maybe you've already tried training multiple cats at once and found that your classroom is very disorganized. Maybe you've tried separating your cats and found that's not working either because one cat is scratching at the door while the other cat is trying to learn. In today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you all the best practices for working with multiple cats.
Hi, we are Julie and Jones, and we help you teach your cat fun and practical skills to enrich their life and strengthen the cat-human bond.
The framework for training multiple cats at cat school I call like students in a classroom. Just like students in a class can learn to stay at their seats when it's not their turn, so can our cats. The goal is that when one cat gets a turn at training, the other cat gets reinforced for staying at their spot. Even though the goal is to work your cats together and that each cat learns to stay at their seat, we can still benefit from starting with your cats independently if it is possible. This is because it's easier to install the foundation behaviors, by that I mean teaching your cats to stay at their seats independently at first. If you have the opportunity to work with your cats independently in the beginning, focus on the training that's going to lead to the goal of them being able to stay at their seat. That means you're going to be teaching your cat to go on the seat, sit, and work on staying on the seat. As you're training, consider the end goal, that one cat stays at their seat while the other cat gets a turn. But what if your cats get so upset or stressed, even if they're separated for a moment? If that's the case, the best way to get started is to introduce some separation with food puzzles.
Food puzzles are an excellent way to start introducing some separation between your cats. Food puzzles can encourage your cat to stay at their own station and focus on their puzzle instead of what the other cat is doing. In this clip, I'm using the clicker to reinforce Morgan's attention. The goal is that when she's done her puzzle, she looks at me to get more treats instead of going to visit the other cat's puzzle.
In this phase of the training, we're going to be encouraging your cat to move away from their seat and back to their seat. What we're trying to do is encourage them to come back to their seat instead of visiting the other cat. A similar analogy is like a student in the classroom who goes up to the front but then understands to return to their seat and not visit another student in class.
In this clip, you can see me reinforcing Frankie for staying at her spot while Morgan is practicing moving away from the mat and returning back to the mat. When Morgan returns back, I reinforce her for making a good choice and coming back to her spot. Frankie continues to get treats for being good and staying at her spot. Now both cats can get a turn at this exercise going in opposite directions. Sitting in the middle of your cats is an excellent way to increase their success and reinforce them for returning to their spots.
Good.
In this video, you can see a practical setup where you sit in a narrow hallway and use your body as a barrier to separate your cats. These cats are learning to move away from the trainer and then come back to the trainer while ignoring what the other cat is doing.
In this stage of the training, we are going to move away from working on the floor to now working on more defined seats.
I'm using these feline cots for this training, and an easy way to start the training process is to layer the snuffle mats over the beds. The goal is to encourage your cat to start going on the bed to eat their treats on their mat. You can also use your finger target or your target stick to teach this behavior. Emily is using chairs as her cat's seats. If you're using chairs, make sure that they're comfortable and not slippery. In this clip, you can see me encouraging Morgan to stay at her seat even when I walk towards Frankie. Remember, the goal is that one cat stays at their seat while you approach the other cat.
In this stage, you're going to start introducing some skills, some training skills to your cats. The goal is that one cat works on a skill while the other cat gets reinforced for staying at their seat.
You can also have one cat engaged in a food puzzle while you work with the other cat. Figure out what setup works best for your cats. One cat might be happy to engage in a food puzzle, while the other will prefer to watch and get treats. This clip is a good example of what you're working towards. Mr. Weasley is encouraged to stay at his spot on a mat while Miss Granger gets a turn at agility. Mr. Weasley is really good about holding his position on the mat while Miss Granger gets a turn. Even with the signals being presented and a treat being tossed, he continues to maintain his position. But now he's left his spot, which presents a great opportunity for us to discuss, what do you do if your cat leaves their seat? That's just good information for you that they need a bit more reinforcements or shorter sessions for each cat for now.
Many people who start their training journey have trouble because their cats are not food motivated.
I recommend improving your cat's food motivation with food puzzles. If your cat will happily work for treats out of puzzles, those treats will be a great option for training. If not, improve your cat's diet and feeding schedule so they are more accepting of food rewards.
And teaching your cats to stay at their seats is an excellent way to support introductions and improve cat-cat interactions. I highly recommend you reach out to a behaviorist and get some support in using clicker training as a tool to improve your cat's interactions. Cats are really good at understanding our attention and our interaction. This means that when you are not working with a cat, it's going to be pretty obvious to them that it's not their turn. Your back is going to be towards them and you're not asking them to do anything. That said, when you initially get started, I like to use a very high rate of a reinforcement with the cat that's waiting for their turn. This means that you almost always give them a treat when you click anyway. So when you're working with one cat and they do something correctly and you click and treat, go back to the other cat and give them a treat as well to encourage them to stay at their place. Over time, you can gradually decrease the rate of reinforcement just so that it's stable and they understand to stay at their place, and every so often they get reinforced.
Yes, you can build your classroom with 3 or even more cats. All you need to do is teach each one to stay at their seat. If you're working with 3 cats, 2 cats will stay at their seat while the other cat gets a turn.
Thank you so much for watching our tutorial. If you are struggling to train your cats, please consider joining our online supportive learning environment. I wish you lots of success training all your cats.